Really.
I think you know the face of the league, and you don't have to discuss it. It wasn't a discussion when LeBron became the face of the league. We just knew he was. Michael Jordan, you just knew he was the face of the league. Dr. J, whoever, you just knew they were the face of the league. Magic and Bird. If we're having to make the case for Shea to be the face of the league, that probably means he's not the face of the league. The reality is the face of the league today is still LeBron James. That's the reality of the situation. He's still the face of the NBA. So
At
we're having
41
all
years
these
old, Mars. At 41
absolutely,
years old, we still doing it.
absolutely. The
Going on
face of the
41
NBA
years
is
old.
LeBron
Until he got
James.
snubbed from first team All
He's
NBA
right,
last year.
but he's
too.
right. To be honest, as much as I want to argue this point that Mars is saying, I can't. He's right.
You know the face of the league when he's here. And we're trying to project who it might be, but if it was Shea, we would just know it's Shea, the same way we've been known as LeBron for the last 15 years.
But Morris,
And that's not a knock to Shea, but
don't
I
think
think
this
you have
year-
to wait till Bron retires. You have to wait.
You don't
It's
think
gonna
this
be
year
Bron.
he could take it though? You don't think
Is
so?
Bron
I know
retiring?
I know you said like you just know it. You don't think this year, once again, with this company, with him doing this,
Is Bron retiring?
No.
if Shea does this back to back, scoring title, back to back MVP, championship, you don't think automatically we are just like that is him?
The
league is-
NBA would have to do that, Mars.
This is how certain I am that LeBron's the face of the league, right? If Shea does that on this show, the very next day, in some way, somehow, we will compare Shea to LeBron James. That's how I know LeBron's still the face of the league. Shea will do a repeat scoring title, finals MVP, conference finals MVP. He will do that. The next show, we do a 3-hour show, sometimes 4. We will spend about half of that show talking about LeBron James. That's how certain I am that he's the face of the league.
I think SGA has to be, like you just said, do it again, do it again, do it again. But that's what I said, Luka Doncic. You know, that's what I think because you know he's saying LeBron James still the face of the NBA, but as you see, Luka's in the fold now with them. And this year when the Lakers win that championship and Luka's MVP, then the torch has been passed to Luka, right? Then now we're talking about Luka's the real face of the NBA. But I do want to go back to what something that Chill was talking about because he took my thunder. He played Guru because Anthony Edwards, you know, has been talked about being the face of the NBA only because he looks like Jordan, he plays like Jordan. And so I think everybody was gravitating to Anthony Edwards because he's so explosive and he dunks and he's so fun to watch. And so everybody's like, well, you know what? That's the face of the NBA. You know, this brash young brother who can jump and he talks trash and everybody loves him. But his game hasn't showed that. He hasn't closed games at the end of his game. He hasn't made players better. So now we're looking at a point where, like to his point, like he just said, he might be right. You know, I agree. LeBron James still is the face of the NBA because nobody else has taken that mantle. Nobody else has played that great for that long a period of time.
Mars, if we ended up having a repeat of last season with SGA, where the Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship, and he did what he did last season, ended up leading the league in scoring again, ended up winning the conference finals MVP, winning the league MVP. Even if we did talk about James, I don't think that necessarily means that we're not making the shift because the NBA would have to now make that shift. To your point, we did know who the face of the league was. Like, we didn't have to ask, is it Jordan? Is it Barkley? Is it David Rock? No, we knew who it was. I'm not that part I'm not arguing. However, if SGA were to do something like what Ron talked about and do it again, I don't think he would have to do it again and again. But if he were to do something like this in back-to-back seasons, the NBA would have to get behind him. They would have to go, yo, this is the future of the league right here. We got a 27-year-old who we may have a number of different years left with him. I personally don't think that we met James yet or Jordan yet. But the face of the league today, if SGA were to do something like that again, the league would have to get behind him.
Bill, Guru, how was y'all talking about Shaq in 2000? That's just what I'm trying to figure out. I don't understand why SGA's not being talked about like these guys. When you go MVP, Finals MVP, championship, scoring title, I'm sincerely asking you, Guru, how are we talking about Shaq in 2000?
That's why I keep being personality and charisma because he does it. He doesn't pound his chest. He doesn't scream. He doesn't point the crowd. He doesn't have this big entourage. When he does his interviews, all his teammates get behind him. You know, it's like he's almost downing himself by not taking this light and shining himself and pumping up himself And so, when Shaq used to dunk and run up his court and dance and high step, and it was something different. You had Magic Showtime, and you had Larry Bird fighting the bad boys, and all these guys. I mean, SGA is like George Gervin. He's just icy and smooth, and he just does it and goes about his business. So I think he goes under the radar. But based on what you're talking about by his accomplishments and how he plays, yes, I can see what you're saying, LeBron. Like, why are we not giving SGA more respect?
To Mars's point, again, when you're talking about LeBron James, he's been that for so long. That's why the Lakers got 34 games on TV this year. That's why the Golden State Warriors got, 34 games, 35 games on TV
they got
this
34.
year?
They got 34. The Knicks too.
Right, but there's a reason why the Warriors and the Lakers got these many games on TV, because they're still holding on to what is right now. They're not ready to move on to what can be. And the reason why they're not ready to move on to what can be, because they're not sure yet. That's why. I mean, there's a reason why the torch was passed to Jordan. There's a reason why the torch was passed to James, because they were comfortable moving on with James as the face of the league. They were comfortable moving on with Jordan as the face of the league. I don't think that they are as comfortable moving on with SGA. I don't think it has anything to do with him being Canadian, but I think because Curry have been around. We're talking James been in the league for 22 years, right? Guru, he's been in the league for 22 years, right? And Steph Curry been around since 2009, and he's been at this level for 15 years. It's hard to let go of something like that when that's been going on. Like Magic and Bird, when they became the face of the league in, I'm gonna say like maybe 82, like that's when it started. So we're talking 8-9 years. When you're talking 15, 20 years where you've had this one constant, it's hard to move on to something new, considering you're not sure about that something new. Even though, like, it's time, Ron. I mean, I've said this to you countless times, Ron. David Stern saw this huge, fun-loving big guy in Orlando that's tearing down backboards with a great smile and a great personality with a great game. Yo, we got to get the camera down there. We got to get the camera on him more, right? He sees this high-flying act, high-wire act in Atlanta named Dominique Wilkins. He's like, yo, we got to get the camera in Atlanta some more. The same logic is going on right now. I just don't think that the camera is moving that way. You got this kid in Orlando named Paolo Banchero. He's fantastic. We got to get the camera down there more, Ron. We got to get the camera on this kid in Detroit that's a super freak athlete that we don't talk about in Cade Cunningham. And they got a damn good team up there. We got to get the camera on these kids more, because there's going to come a time, and I know people don't want to talk about this, there's going to come a time when the camera's on LeBron James and he's going to say, I'm retiring. What are we going to do? The camera's going to be on Steph Curry and he's going to say, I'm retiring. What are we moving on to at that point?
Yeah. Go ahead, Guru.
Because you're naming all these players, and they're all great and they're all arguable, right? But we didn't even talk about Jason Tatum. I mean, for Boston, he won a championship. We're not talking about him, right? Why? We're not talking about Donovan Mitchell. Why? Why are we not talking about them? But we're back to LeBron James because we're still back to excellence. We're back to the king. We're back to a guy who hasn't gotten trouble off the court. We're back to a guy who has taken all these teams to the finals, and he's played so great for so many years. And I've argued against this man. I'm a Kobe Bryant fanatic. That's my number one. That's my GOAT. I'm a Kobe Bryant GOAT. So I know all the arguments against LeBron, but now it's like, man, this man's an all-time lead scorer. He's up there to assists and rebounds, and he continues to play at a high level. And it's amazing that he's continuing to do this.
Yeah. And that would explain why they still holding on to what they holding on with him. And if it's up to the NBA, James can they don't want James to retire. They want him to play for as long as he possibly can. Because I don't think they're ready to move on from him yet. I don't think that they're ready to move on from him yet. But it's coming up. It's coming up to that point. Ron, what I equated to Ron, James, Curry, and KD. That's your savings account money, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
You keep using that money, Ron, eventually that money's going to run out. Meanwhile, you got some money over here that you can start using that money, and it builds into even more money. Banchero, Cunningham, Wemby, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, because that money's going to be around way longer than this money over here. But I think that the NBA is still holding on to this money with James and KD and Curry because they're not prepared. Or is it maybe they just don't know how to move on with this other money?
Well, chill. I mean, you can't not prop up Steph Curry and LeBron James based on what they were doing.
Sure.
When Steph Curry goes in the first round and does what he does to the Rockets, you can't not talk about it. When LeBron James plays at a first team all league level, you can't not talk about it. Like these dudes are making it impossible not to talk about them. KD as well. My thing is James Harden too. It's still a lot of these guys that are still around playing at a high level. Jimmy Butler, even DeMar DeRozan to a certain extent. Like these older guys are still balling. What I'm saying though is, if we were to, let's say we were in a room and it was us and Adam Silver. We all got a drink, maybe a cigar, and we really talking turkey. We really talking about what's going on behind the scenes. I would just find it hard to believe that Adam Silver would not tell us that either SGA or Luka Doncic is his face of the league. Like Bron and Steph, they are staples. It's nothing we could do to remove them. But if we were to ask him, who is he now pushing? Who does he now believe in? Who does he think is next up? I would find it hard to believe that he would not say Shea is next up, and that is his guy moving forward.
You don't think he would just say Wemby?
Wemby hasn't proven it yet. Like he's proven that he's a good basketball player, but he hasn't proven
Silva had Wemby's games in France being broadcasted on League Pass. He's been preparing for Wemby coming into the league from before he got drafted.
As he should.
I think Wemby was the not contingency plan, because Bron's inevitably going to retire. I think Wemby was the plan for when Bron goes. It's Wemby. That's what I would assume, but I don't know.
Mars, so you said he was the plan, but is he still the plan? I'm saying, like, after blood clots. I mean, he played good his first 2 years. I can't knock his play, but after the blood clot situation and everything, and even then, Mars, a lot could change in a year, especially 2 years. Nobody thought SGA was going to reach this height. If anything, we thought it was going to be Luka or Ant. Nobody just thought SGA was going to jump on the scene, explode through, become a scoring title. And I keep saying it because it is incredible company. Finals MVP, champion, scoring champion, all in the same season. All these guys up here did it once, except for Jordan. He did it 4 times. Nobody thought he was going to jump into that tier. I'm saying, now that he's done it, Mars, you got to make rearrangements sometimes. Hey, chill. I ain't think she was going to be my wife until she showed me these things. And I'm like, yo, chill, I got to put a ring on this chick.
Before somebody else does.
You see?
Fair enough. Yeah. But to your point, Ron, I mean, 3 years ago, in the beginning of the 2022-23 season, if I told y'all, yo, in 3 years, SGA going to be the best player in the NBA, none of y'all would have bought that. None of y'all.
I'm still not buying
it.
Yeah. Mars, even second or third, or even fourth. 3 years ago, did you think he would be top five?
Top five player? I think we can get with that.
I'd like to think I would have thought top 5, but I've been high on Shea for a while.
But Ron, what are we
I don't know, because I was still an Embiid believer. So
Ron, what are we talking about when I said Luka's on the face of the NBA? Because Luka took a Dallas team to the finals. He took a Dallas team to the NBA finals.
They had a good team, yo. They did.
They did have a good team, but
Luka's 1-0 against Shea in the playoffs.
By the way.
So,
I mean, Luka
Isaiah Thomas was 3-0 against Jordan, and they never said he was the face of the league, Mars. We ain't doing that.
Because Isaiah Thomas wasn't on MJ's level. Luka's absolutely on Shea's level.
But I think we're seeing a change in the game. When you bring up Wemby, we're seeing these big Europeans come over here, like Luka, like Joker, like Wemby, and they're 6'8", they're 7 foot, and they score inside out. They dribble, they pass, they shoot 3-point shots, and that kind of signifies this change in the NBA from this one-on-one Michael Jordan game to more of a team game playing zones to fit the European style. And the NBA is changing right before our eyes. And I think after the Lakers win this championship, and the king passes that torch to Luka, I think that's what's going to happen.